Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, coming live here for another love circle. And today we are talking about anxiety. We are going to learn how we can heal our anxiety from non-medicinal ways. Um, and it is very interesting that today I'm teaching about it because yesterday I did have an episode of anxiety. For those of you who don't know a lot about me, in 2021, as I was going through a very deep personal healing journey, I started to have panic attack. So one of the things I want to help all of us understand. Anxiety is something that each and every one of us is going to experience at some point in our life. It is not a death sentence. It is not a permanent thing. If you're anxious today, it doesn't mean that is who you are going to be. It is a phenomena that happens in your emotional body, and there is a reason it's happening. So when I was going through my phase of panic attack, the reason I was going through it because I was so deep into the healing, it's almost like I was working through my deepest fears, things that I have suppressed for so long. So when we open that can of worms, the worm crawl all over. So if you are on your healing journey and you were a person who never had panic attacks or never felt anxious, but now you're feeling anxious. So this is the reason why it's happening, because most likely you're doing the deep work to work through your fears. So after the 4-month period in 2021, I did not have any panic attack. What I did have, kind of like, this buzzing feeling in my nervous system, because again, I was working through some very, very, very deep stuff. I wanted to work through my humanness and get to the level of my soul. So that is very deep work. I am still doing it. This is something I'll be doing for the rest of my life. So when we do work at that level, it is very normal to to have a little bit of emotionally unstable body. But as long as you know what's going on and how you're going to deal with it, that's what makes a huge difference. So yesterday, something was going on in my personal life, and a trigger showed up, and a memory showed up. And I started to have this feeling of anxiousness where my heartbeat was all over the place, my breathing was all over the place, and I was very aware what's going on, what's playing. So being in that feeling for about an hour, I am going to show you exactly what I did um, to just manage it, because I was also with my child. So we can't really do deep work in front of our kids either. But within next 2 hours, I was able to sit down and work through it, come on the other side. So first, let's start with anxiety. What is anxiety? Anxiety is an unprocessed fear. A fear that just showed up in a trigger. But if you're not questioning what's going on in my mind, if you're not aware of what's going on in your mind, you're going to completely miss it. You're just going to say, I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know, I'm such an anxious person and my body's out of control. Because when our body goes out of control, that adds to our fear, because now we don't have trust in our body. Now I feel like I am going to collapse. And that is the most out of control we can ever feel as a human when it comes to our body. So it starts adding and piling up. But what anxiety really is an unprocessed fear. If you're someone who loves to suppress your emotions, at some point in your life, you're going to become an anxious person. If you already aren't, generally takes about a decade to get there. But now we have kids who are experiencing a lot of anxiety because there are some very, very, very important inner skills that are not being taught to the kids in our modern lifestyle. We are away from nature. Nature naturally helps us align with our soul, helps process our emotions, clears our emotional body. So if we are not going on regular basis to a forest, being around trees, being around ocean, being around mountains. If we are not doing that, it's a very normal for you to start feeling anxious because we all carry so much emotional junk around. And if you don't know how to create emotional, energetical boundaries, you go to the grocery store. You come back with so much stuff with you. So the anxiety that you're feeling might not even be yours. You just picked up that energy somewhere. So I'm just giving all kind of scenarios out there, but I personally think if you're feeling anxious, really sit down and work through it. Now let's look at fear. What is fear? I said it's an unprocessed fear. Fear could be biological. We all know when we are in danger and somebody's running after us or an animal is running after us, or we are like, on the top of a building and the building is about to collapse. Now that is an extreme example. That is a biological fear. It's real. And we will try to come up with a solution, try to run away from it. But that is not the problem. That's not what creates anxiety. It's a psychological fear. Most of us carry psychological fears, and our psychological fears are lies that we are choosing to believe in because we were conditioned to believe in. One of the very big one, what other people will think of me. It's a psychological fear. It's filled with lies that it's a very important for your for your survival. It's very important that other people validate you. That is a lie unconsciously we all believe in. And I would tell you, friends, just being very aware of what goes on within me. When someone comments on social media or wherever and they're saying whatever against me or my work or what I'm teaching, all of a sudden I do feel a stress response in my body. And I'll be sharing with you what that is. I do feel that because I am so aware. I work through it right away. I don't let it sit there. I don't let it marinate, ferment for many, many years. I deal with it there and then. But there was a time when I didn't have the skill how to process my emotions. That is when things started to pile up. So, whatever is going on, always remember to start paying attention to, am I afraid of something? Is this real? So one of the tools I'm going to teach you, question every thought that you have. Question every fear that you have. Always ask it, is it true? Is it really true? Can I be 100% absolutely sure that that is true? Maybe it was true at some point in human history that people liked us, otherwise they will throw us out of the clan and a tiger will eat us. But given in this day and age, it's not true. Even if your own community, your own family is going to cast you out, your livelihood, your sustenance does not depend on those people anymore. You can even move to a different country. You can go get a different job. You can create a different home. You can create a different family, different community for yourself. And no matter how weird or different you are, there is a community out there for you. And through internet, we are so connected, you can find that. So see, that is the truth. But our mind will keep telling us this psychological lie. Now, I just want to put in there stress. Stress is a perceived fear. Stress is that feeling when I think something will go wrong. I am already anticipating something that I'm afraid of. People who are very stressful are the people who are very anxious as well. So again, start questioning yourself. Why do I need to think about the worst case scenario? Why it is so important for me? Why don't I just chillax and move through this moment and meet the next moment where it's going to be when I get there? This is again all the training that we will do internally within ourselves. And this does take a lot of repetition, working on yourself every single day. This is the kind of things that you don't ever stop doing. This is learning to be in a different way. So now what happens when we are going through a panic attack? Beside this psychological fear that is going in your unconscious mind, which is your feeling mind, and it is just opening this whole box of fear. For example, if you're a if you're a parent and somebody just calls you and they tell you a story, I have this friend so and so, and her 7-year-old died. Imagine you have a 7-year-old. Your mind is going to keep bringing that. What if it happens to you? What if it happens to you? And if you're not a person who's very aware of what goes on within you, you're going to get off that call. You're going to feel very weird. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel something in your stomach. You might even feel like crying, and you would say, I have no idea. Maybe I'm just such an empathetic person. Maybe I'm feeling the pain of that person. That all could be very true. But there is a psychological fear going on that got activated through that outside trigger within you. So when that fear does get activated, the best solution would be to address the fear right there and then. But if you cannot catch the fear, you cannot address it, it becomes anxiety. And now what's going on inside of your body? Your body is going into a panic mode. It's saying there is a danger and we need to run, because that is the stress response we have built in. But the body doesn't know, oh my God, the fear is psychological. It's not physical. So what's happening right away? Your sympathetic nervous system gets activated, which is the stress response, which means we're going to take all the blood and we're going to send it to extremities, your hands and your legs. So your legs will start shaking, or they will start to feel weak. Your palms would get clumsy. Your breathing is getting shorter, because when we are running, we don't have time to take longer breaths. And all of a sudden, you're just going like this, and you're like, I don't know what's happening. And that fear, I don't know what's happening, adds to the fear. That is a full-blown panic attack. Now, in that moment, there's 4 things we can do. But usually what happens in that moment, we get even more panic, and other people around us get even more panic, and we're just like, we don't know, everything is out of control. So because you have watched this video, you hopefully would know what to do. So 4 things. The first one is physical. The second one is energetical. The third one is emotional. The fourth one is mental. Physical, energetical will help you stop that panic attack, or will help you manage the panic attack. But emotional and mental, that is something you'll do later on when you are fully back to normal. But those are the 2 things that would help you heal your anxiety. The first 2 will help you manage it. The last 2 will help you heal it. So that is something I did, a little deeper work, to really get to a place where a trigger does not take me completely off my feet. So yesterday, what I was experiencing, it was just like, something bubbling. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. I was able to work through it right away. And then later on, I did the emotional and the mental aspect. But I'm a believer in doing the work the same day the trigger happens, because if I will go to sleep, it gets kind of like archived. So if, let's say, you are dealing with a fear or anxiety or full-blown panic attack, do all the work before you go to sleep. Don't go to sleep without working through it. But, if it's so bad that you're in hospital or it gets so crazy, do it whenever you get chance. Okay, so let's talk about the physical aspect of it. So the physical symptoms of anxiety, they are coming from sympathetic nervous system being activated. Now, most of us, we live in that stress mode. At some point, we stepped into it and then we got stuck in that. That's why now we are seeing more people getting sick in their 20s and 30s because they live in the stress mode. And when we are in stress mode, there's no energy being provided for the healing and rejuvenation of the body. So the other nervous system is parasympathetic nervous system. That is the calm, relaxed, heal. Let's heal the cells that have been replaced or, that we lost today. It's that way of being. So the first thing we want to do, we want to switch the sympathetic nervous system back to parasympathetic nervous system. We want to turn this one on and want to turn this one on. If it's for you, if you can remember, do these things. But if you are witnessing someone else having a panic attack or feeling very anxious, you can guide them through that. The fastest way is breath. When we take a deep breath, we expand our lungs, a very deep breath. That's why the person is told to blow into a brown bag, and they are told blow it up. When they exhale and they inhale at that extended level, what's happening? Their lungs are expanding. When your lungs expand, they touch what there is a muscle right there called diaphragm. Diaphragm has the neurons that are part of parasympathetic nervous system. So if anything touches the diaphragm, you know what's going to happen? Parasympathetic nervous system is going to get activated. Your body is going to get the signal, oh, danger is averted. If you have ever seen tiger chase a deer in the usually like in the documentaries. So usually this is what happens. There's this deer who got off track from the herd, and now the tiger, the lion is running after, and then somehow the deer made it back to the herd. And now it knows I'm safe. Doesn't matter if the tiger is few feet away, but now I'm with the herd, I am safe. What's happening? It jumped into sympathetic nervous system. When it got to the herd, it went back into parasympathetic nervous system. It went from stress to relax. And then it's again, it's eating the grass and it's calm and chillax. But what happens with us human? We never come back. We'll have a panic moment and then we'll stay stuck there. And even the next day we just feel a little unstable. And even the next day we feel a little unstable till that becomes our way of being. So when we never come back to our center, and we get stuck in that stress mode, that is where a lot of physical damage is happening. So just getting in habit of taking deep breaths is a very good exercise for all of us. So if you're going through a panic attack, 10 deep breaths. Deep inhale, where your stomach is coming out, and deep exhale through the mouth. Inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth. That is one thing you can do. Second thing that you can do, this is more for when you're just feeling anxious and you don't know, I don't know what's going on. Take your hand or keep a feather with you and just run it on your hand like this. So when we are caressing the skin, you don't do that when you're running for your life. We are sending the body a message. Everything is perfect, calm and relaxed. This is more of a romantic gesture. That means things are definitely very calm and relaxed. This right away can make a huge difference in how you feel in your body. All we are doing is turning on parasympathetic nervous system and sending body a signal, everything is cool. The last one is you can take your hand and you can put it on the end of your lower back. So now what we are doing, there's basic chakra there and there's this chakra. We are putting the two energy center together. And basic chakra is where the fear is. Like if we look at the emotional aspect of basic chakra, that is where the fear is, that is where the survival instinct is, that is where when I feel attacked, that's where I feel. So then when we put our hand at our basic chakra, which is at the end of your spine, take a deep breath from there or not. Or you can just say, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. This is something um, that when my mom was going through her um, a very big life-saving surgery. At that time, I was working with my very first coach, and I just felt all kind of things because I had volunteered to be the person available for my mom to take her to the hospital and be in communication with the doctors and everything. And I didn't realize in taking on that responsibility how much my body was feeling the emotion of it, that I didn't have chance to really process in that very moment. So in that moment, I think my coach helped me guide through some of the things. She literally told me, go to the bathroom, say these things. And I believe I am safe was one of them. And it made a huge difference. I kept saying it over and over for 5 minutes, made a huge difference. I felt like somebody took all the burden off of my shoulders. So these things might seem very small. I mean, definitely feels like, how will it work? Because we are so used to taking a pill for our anxiety. That feels like the easier thing to do. I'm just going to put more chemicals in my body. But you can activate the chemical ability of your own body. It can create those chemicals if you just use these tips and tricks. So putting a hand on your lower back, affirming, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. If you're dealing with a child, you put the hand on their lower back, you say, child is safe. Or you can say, you're safe, you're safe. That is my go-to when I'm dealing with my son. One day we had thunder, and then that created such a big, crazy, scary sound that my son's sympathetic nervous system got activated. His legs were literally shaking like this, and he got so worried what's happening to his body. That was the first time he saw his body's sympathetic nervous system getting activated. So he looked at me. He's like, "Mommy, what's happening to me?" I put my hand on his heart. His heartbeat was so fast that even I started to panic. So then I helped him 10 deep breaths. By the seventh breath, his heartbeat was down, his legs were feeling good, and he was so surprised. Oh my God, just by taking deep breaths, he's becoming better. So that is the power of just using our physical apparatus that we have available. Now let's move into the energetical aspect of it. So let's say you had a panic attack and these are the things you can do. Then the next thing would be to balancing your energy body. When we go into a panic attack or we are feeling anxious, what's happening? Our solar plexus chakra is getting so much bigger. It's trying to find a balance. So think of it as an overactive motor or overactive fan that's just keep running, but the more it goes, the more it gets heated. So it's getting out of control. The way to control it is this point, Ajna chakra. Ajna chakra is called the master chakra. You can even tell it things. Once you learn to work with your own energy body, you can tell your Ajna chakra, do this in my body. It is very cool trick. So what you can do, put your one finger here and the other finger right at the pit of your stomach, and for women, exactly where your breast step ends in the front, and 3 deep breaths, and make the intention they both are balancing. And the coolest thing is, as I'm teaching it, like doing it, this demonstration to you guys right now, I'm just feeling a little bit more looser and looser. With your kids, if you have a 6-year-old, if you have a 12-year-old who feel anxious, teach them this trick. Hey, put a finger over here, put a finger over here, take 3 deep breaths. Your body's energy is getting aligned. Once all the energy chakras are same size where they're supposed to be, that is when we feel grounded, we feel present, and we feel like I am here, rejuvenated. And that is how you're going to start feeling. The next one is emotional. So, what happens with emotions when we are not used to feeling our emotions? That is when we have anxiety, panic, stress, fear, because we don't even know how to do it, or it feels too uncomfortable. So, something that would be more of a lifestyle change. See, these last two, the emotional and the mental, they are going to be something that is going to completely heal your anxiety or your habit of being anxious all the time. Whenever something happens and you're experiencing an emotion, create a little bit space for yourself. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? And then let yourself feel it. Your mind would want to go towards the left side and go to logic and try to tell you it's not the end of the world, it's okay, be the better person, everything would be fine. That is all good. But if we don't feel the movement of the energy in our emotional body, it gets stuck. And we don't want those blockages in our energy body. So let yourself feel it. Even the craziest thing that happened in your life, if you let yourself feel it, your body can process it within 72 hours. And again, yesterday, that's what I did. When I got the chance, I sat down and I gave myself permission to feel the pain of those past memories. I have done it many times, especially that specific memory, but maybe there were some leftovers that wasn't processed. So I let myself feel it. It felt uncomfortable. I felt like, stuff is crawling on my back. Why I'm doing it? I don't want to do it. This feels like now I really have to face what has been hidden or suppressed within me. I kept taking deep breaths and I kept saying, I am allowing myself to feel this pain and it's okay. You can always light a candle. When we have a candle in front of us, the fire itself, fire ignites something within us. It makes things easier. You can also, gaze at the flame and you can remind yourself there is light within you. And that light is helping you. So that is one thing you can do, is let yourself feel the emotion of that trigger. Let yourself feel the fear. It's just psychological. There's a huge lie in it. But when you let yourself feel it, it's like you're unclogging the pipes. But if you don't let yourself feel it, you're just clogging the pipe even further. So creating space in your life to feel those emotions. Another thing you can do that is called emotional transformation, you can take out first, just like, so let's say right now I do have some lingering stuff going on since this morning. So I'll just work on that. Take a deep breath. Locate where the emotion is. We all feel emotion different places. We never feel it in the head or neck above. So if you're feeling it here, you're not really connected with your emotions. I usually feel it in my heart, in my front heart. So take out that emotion, that energy, and now connect with it. How does it look? How does it feel? If it will be an object, is it warm and fuzzy? Is it prickly? What smell there is? To me, I'm seeing like a black, smoky cloud kind of thing. It doesn't have any smell to it. So what we are going to do now, we're going to put it in between two energy center. One is here, one is here. We're going to transform this energy. Right now, we are just purely working with the energy of the fear, because fear is what creates anxiety. I'm going to rub it, and we are going to make the intention that my higher self is transforming this emotion into whatever it needs to be for the highest good of all. I am already feeling the shift. That's why you might notice my smile got a little bigger. So as it's transforming, you're going to feel a difference in your body. My shoulders are getting looser, looser, looser. So for me, the transformation is already done. I'm going to open the hand, and now I'm sensing a white fluffy cloud that has like a little fragrance to it. And the emotion for me is peace. I'm going to put it back in. Take a deep breath and let this peace move to my whole body. Now I'm feeling definitely better than before. So that is another thing you can do for yourself. Now let's get to the last one, mental. That is where the real transformation happened. That is where you have to learn, you would learn, if you're open to it, is to think differently. When there's a trigger, there's a thought, and there's a very specific way you think about it and the story that you tell. We need to get to that story and we need to change that story. That's why wait till you are fully calm, fully relaxed. So let's go back to that story. Somebody told you that, this person lost their 7-year-old child, and now you're living in that panic and fear mode. What's happening? Your mind is saying this can happen to you. And then you're going into all the worst case scenario. What will happen? How would you ever live? And you're gonna go crazy, and who's gonna take care of the family? That is where your mind is going. But let's stop right there. It can happen to you. That is a lie. That is where you will question, is that true? Is that true? There's no guaranteed answer that it's true because you have not seen the future. Even the people who claim to see the future, even they cannot tell 100% when it will happen, how it will happen. There's some aspects of our human experience that's only higher power knows. We can predict, we can be ready, but we don't really know for sure. So the truth is, you don't know if that is something will happen. Now, your mind would be like, well, it can happen to anybody. Well, how about I'll think about it when it does happen? So now we have a new story. So I will say, then write down that story on a piece of paper. And then keep reading it whenever that thought comes back. Keep reading it whenever that thought comes back. Now, for you, the story could be different. For you, it could be someone else got a divorce, and then you're thinking, oh my God, what if I get a divorce? What if my husband end up cheating on me? Like you're just living with that terror, right? That is the story that is going on in your mind. Again, you can write a new story. I will think about it when it happens, or I will be okay. I will tell you guys what was going on in my mind. So my anxiety was like, really deep with a lot of roots in it. I won't take you guys through the whole story, but the thought that I had was I lost my family. And of course, it was happening a year after my divorce as I was healing through a lot of stuff and really rediscovering myself, completely separate from my family, from my culture, from my religion, from society. I was just in that depth of discovering who am I as a soul. That is the phase I was going through. And the thought said, well, you lost what you had. And it just so happened that 3 times I did experience it, it was just I was around family or friends who are couples, and I'm not. So that is how the trigger was showing up. But once I was able to slow down and with the help of my mentor get to the story, I wrote another story. It's not that I lost something, I made a choice. When we uncouple, consciously uncouple, that is a choice we are making, and there is a very valid reason we are making it, but in that moment your mind doesn't care what your reasoning was or what the bigger picture is. It only wants to pull you where it hurts. So we want to make sure we heal that wound so it doesn't hurt, so it cannot poke us where it hurts. So to heal that wound, I came up with a sentence: I made a choice and I can choose something else again. The truth is, I can create a family all over again if I want. We get to create our reality. I can do it, but that part of my brain that runs on survival does not understand that higher level of consciousness that I actually have a choice. So I wrote that sentence and then I kept it under my pillow. Every morning when I'll wake up, I'll read that. And that is something you can do. Every morning you wake up, read it. What we are doing, we are rewiring your unconscious mind. We are healing that wound. We are healing that very specific fear. We are putting a truth in where the lie has been all along. That, my friend, is going to heal your anxiety. And you might have 100 triggers that contribute to your anxiety. Work on them one by one. This is the most precious gift you will give to yourself. Every human deserves to be whoever they want to be without being controlled by fear. As long as you're living in the shadow of anxiety, you don't get to the light that is within you, that wants to come out. You don't get to really the truest self of you. And we all need you to live fully in your light, because that is when all of us are going to get to benefit from it. This whole earth is going to get benefit from it. So I am thanking you on the behalf of the whole humanity ahead of time for doing this work to heal your anxiety. And if you feel like that you would like my help on this journey, I would love to be your guide. You can reach out to me anytime. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and you can reach out to me from there. But when you do this work, you're not just doing it for yourself. You are doing it for the rest of humanity. When you get to be your truest self that does not get controlled by fear or anxiety or stress, remember, fear, anxiety, stress will always show up because we live in a physical body. Sympathetic nervous system is not going away anywhere. It will get triggered. It will wake up. But we want to be in a place where it does not control your day. It does not control your life. That is where we want to be. So that is all, my friend, for today. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will see you next Thursday. Love you. Bye.